Hey, this is Hill. I'm with Eric, and we're going to be doing a little grudge match between Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Blade. Now, we already know that Ninja Blade is not a great game, right, Eric?
Not quite.
Yeah, so we're not going to compare the gameplay, and we're not going to say which game is better. We know it's Ninja Gaiden 2. That's no question there. Instead, we're going to debate which game is more ridiculous.
And both of these games are quite ridiculous.
That's true, but I think people need to know which one is more ridiculous. And I've got to say that I think Ninja Blade actually is more over the top than Ninja Gaiden 2.
Now, you might have a point there, and in some ways I might agree with you, but overall I'm going with Ninja Gaiden 2 as the more ridiculous game.
Well, let's start off by looking at the environments that the two have. Now, this one, it's hard to argue for Ninja Blade because you basically stay in Tokyo the entire time, even though you get to see some different parts, the underground and stuff. It's really just you in a city, but it's meant to contrast all the other ridiculous stuff that you're going to see in the game.
Yeah, and meanwhile you have Ninja Gaiden 2 where in one of the levels it rains blood. I don't think you can get much more ridiculous than that.
Well, I think because Ninja Blade is just doing so many incredible things on the screen, you just can't possibly add blood to it. That's what it was.
Oh, really?
Now, I'd say there's some debate over which is more extreme in terms of the enemies and the combat. Ninja Gaiden 2, yeah, it's like it's really hard, so you have to block a lot. And Ninja Blade is really just about like mashing buttons and just destroying guys and just having tons of guys coming at you all the time and just never seeing an end to all the number of grotesque enemies that you see and face.
Yeah, but the combat's pretty one-dimensional, and in Ninja Gaiden 2, you get to rip heads off, you get to rip arms off, and there's fountains of blood everywhere. I mean, I don't care which kind of enemies you throw at the player in Ninja Blade, then none of them are exploding in fountains of blood.
Yeah, but I don't know that fountains of blood are extreme anymore. We've just seen so many fountains of blood that it's sort of become passé, where I kind of like an explosion of red color rather than actually seeing blood or limbs coming out.
You're just crazy.
Now, I think we do have something to debate in terms of boss battles. Now, Ninja Blade starts off right off the bat, I think one of the crazier boss battles that can compete and stand toe-to-toe with any boss battle in Ninja Gaiden 2, and that's when you just fight the big spider.
In Ninja Gaiden 2, I would say that would compare with the giant spider that you fight.
Yeah, but I would say that the fight with the giant spider in Ninja Blade is actually far more engrossing than the fight with the giant spider in Ninja Gaiden 2. I mean, let's face it, you defeat the giant spider in Ninja Blade by slamming a wrecking ball into him. That's pretty hardcore.
Okay, the way you kill it might be better, but the boss battles themselves in Ninja Gaiden 2 are way more over the top. The fights themselves. I mean, you fight a guy named Wolf the Wolf.
You will bring before me an opponent worthy of I, Wolf, greater fiend and ruler of storms.
I don't think you get much more crazy than that.
No, you're right, and I am fighting a losing battle. But there's one area where I can win, and I will have to say that the costumes in Ninja Blade, without question, are so much more extreme and ridiculous than any alternate costume that you can put on in Ninja Gaiden 2.
Ninja Gaiden 2 does have some good alternate costumes. There's some Fiend ones, you get some Biometal Ryu Hayabusa ones. But I will concede this point, there is no clown costume in Ninja Gaiden 2.
Let's talk story.
Okay.
And I don't want to get too far into the story because, I don't want to spoil it for anybody because both stories are so good. And by so good, I mean they're both terrible. But I will say that Ninja Blade right off the bat, the first chapter, has a way better twist than you get in all of Ninja Gaiden 2.
I will agree with that, mostly because I don't really know what happened in Ninja Gaiden 2 ever. So I'm not sure if there was a plot twist, because I don't think there was a plot to twist.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that either game has a good story at all, because they both don't. But I do think that there were more moments in Ninja Blade where, at least, even if I was confused, at least I said, like, whoa, wasn't expecting to be this confused.
Moving on to the final point, and this might be the ultimate decider, the category of Tadomes.
Yes. Now, Ninja Blade has these awesome moments when you're fighting bosses where you can do a Tadome, and this is just a quick time event, really cinematic, cool ways to kill guys. We already talked about how you fight the Arachne and you kill him with a wrecking ball. And as we know, Eric, how many Tadomes does Ninja Gaiden 2 have?
Technically 0, although you do have some special finishing moves on bosses. They're technically not called Tadomes, but you can do a little bit of a stylish finisher.
I think that we have then concluded that Ninja Blade is the winner. because Tadomes overrule all other things.
It's true. We do have written down here that Tadomes are worth 1,000,000 points, and all the other ones are each 1 point.
Now, Ninja Gaiden 2, again, still a far better game and definitely worth your $60, much more than Ninja Blade is. But if you were going to pick a game just based on how ridiculous it is, I think Ninja Blade comes out ahead.
I think our final score is 1,001,000 to 3.
I believe so.
Eat this!